Michael W. Smith, so good to have you. First, what surprised you most in the retelling of the story behind the music, if you will?
Well, I think probably hearing everybody's story, the backstory of other artists, of the struggle, the fight, what people have gone through, adversity, and how they survived and how they came out on the other side of it. I always think that's fascinating when you get to hear somebody else's story, and I applaud all the artists in this film that were very vulnerable. I mean, there were some heart-wrenching things that were said and revealed, which I think was really, really good. I think that's what makes the film so appealing, is that it's pretty authentic and pretty real. So, yeah, but I knew that was coming because we all have a story, and we obviously all of us have had our ups and downs figuring this thing out and walking this journey through this amazing thing that we get to do, this thing called music, which is the most powerful universal language in the world. I've always said that, and I still believe it.
We see your face on the poster. We know that you've worked closely with Amy Grant, toured, and I think you even credit her for your success, if you will. What made you say yes to being a part of this storytelling?
Well, I've always wanted to see this come to the big screen. At some point, I think the story needed to be told, but it wasn't until the Irwin brothers, John and Andy, approached me, who are great storytellers. I guess approached me about 2-3 years ago about doing this documentary, and asked if I would be involved as an executive producer and help speak into it. And it was adamantly yes. I mean, it was a no-brainer for me. So I knew if anybody could pull it off, and especially for these guys who were so talented but kind of cut their teeth on this music growing up, I'm thinking these guys can pull it off, and they certainly did.
Now, I'm sure that this project, with someone like yourself being involved in it, is bathed in prayer. What's your prayer for what happens because of this?
Well, probably a lot of things. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is that you'll have a whole new group of people, could be millions of people, who discover this music for the very first time. And if history is any measure of what this music has done to millions of people, then I think you could potentially have millions of people that are affected by this. I think ultimately, at least deep down inside my spirit, gut, I call it, is that maybe this movie is the catalyst of this next revival that we've been praying for so long. How sweet that would be. And my hunch or my faith tells me that I think it's a great possibility.
How aware were you of the power of the work that you were doing while you were doing it?
I think when you got the letters in the mail, I think when you started getting feedback from people who were disheartened, who had come at the end of their rope and it was over and they were suicidal, or, I mean, the list goes on, and one of your songs completely changed the course of their life and sort of put them back on track. I think when you started getting like those letters, those emails over and over and over again, you thought, wow, this thing's working, and this is why I do what I do. So, yeah, and one of those stories is worth my whole career, just one of them.
Wow. What was the toughest part to share for you?
I don't think there was any tough thing for me to share. I think, maybe the vulnerable part of us, of maybe us losing our way. I think if every artist would be honest, I think, it got into the 90s and the turn of the decade, and there's hits, and people were on pop radio, and people were selling records, and it all came to, well, who's number one, and a little bit of pride involved. I think that's where we lost our way a little bit. I think we're all guilty of it. And, I certainly saw that in my life, and I thought, well, we just need a reset. We have to have a reset, because this is, you know, as you get older and grow in your faith, you realize it's not about you. And yeah, it's not.
It's not.
So I think a lot of us did a reset and kind of got back on track, and it proven to be a good thing, obviously. So.
Again, the documentary is called The Jesus Music. The key word there, Jesus, right there at the center of it all. Michael W. Smith, thank you so much for your time.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.